Divine Spirit, and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Sthapakaya ca dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Sthapakaya ca dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions. Let us pray to him to lead us from unreal to the real, from darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, from death to immortality. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Last time we have read some of the passages in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Master Mahasaya was greatly impressed by Sri Ramakrishna's personality. It would make him come more and more to meet him. As soon as he went back home, his mind was full of thoughts on Sri Ramakrishna. His whole mind was thinking about him. He found immeasurable peace, immeasurable joy, even by thinking about him. He just began to see his beautiful form in his mind, and he was overwhelmed with joy. What impressed him most was Sri Ramakrishna's utter simplicity. What impressed him most was his masterly experience in spirituality. First time he saw Sri Ramakrishna getting into ecstatic state, he was wonderstruck to see this. It was an amazing sight to see Sri Ramakrishna in that samadhi state. He was full of bliss. There was a benign smile on his face, full of love and compassion towards all the beings. One could feel that Sri Ramakrishna was giving limitless grace, was showering grace upon everyone, whomsoever it might be. So, he was completely a different person. His whole mind was transformed. His whole life was transformed. He was a householder, but his life was blessed. He could get fulfillment in the life by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. It doesn't matter whether a person is an householder or not. That is not the important point. The point is how we would make the mind go towards the divine. That's the point. So here is the way Sri Ramakrishna showed and impressed Master Mahasaya to practice internal renunciation. Try to love God in the same way as you love your wife and children. In the same way as you love your wealth, your property, etc. Then you will see wonder of the wonders. In the beginning, Master Mahasaya, whenever he would come to see Sri Ramakrishna, he would salute him with folded hands. But he learnt, probably because of the influence of his English education. But afterwards, he learnt how to salute a holy man. When he came to Sri Ramakrishna, no more doing simply namaskar like this. He lied down on the ground, flat. He offered salutations. The head was completely touching the ground. That is a symbol of humility. Completely surrendering oneself to the Divine Lord. It symbolizes that. What we call in Sanskrit Dirghadanda Namaskar. Heart and soul offer everything to the Lord. That's the. So, he learned many things, and this is the important thing he learned. How to salute a holy man. How to get the grace from such a person. Sri Ramakrishna would give an example of a peacock. Suppose it was given opium at 4 p.m. Next day exactly at 4 p.m. it would come. It was so much attracted by the opium pill. In the same way, Master Mahasaya was attracted by Sri Ramakrishna. As soon as he went back home, immediately he would think when he would go back again to see Sri Ramakrishna. So he felt irresistible attraction towards Sri Ramakrishna. Master Mahasaya was observing Sri Ramakrishna in every respect. Once he has come, many youngsters were sitting around Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna was making fun with them. He was smiling wholeheartedly. He was treating them, all of them, as his very own, as if they were all his very close friends. So he built up a relationship between himself and the people who would come to him. So Sri Ramakrishna became the center of attraction for the people who are blessed enough to come there and receive his grace. So Master Mahashaya is one of them. Whenever he would be in the company of Sri Ramakrishna, he would forget the whole world. He would feel as if he is in some celestial region where there is joy and peace all around. He could feel that. He could feel that. And he wanted to stay in that state as long as he could. He forgot about everything else of this world. For the time being, his mind was fully occupied with the divine thoughts with Sri Ramakrishna. Then, in the course of talk, Sri Ramakrishna would give wonderful, practical, spiritual instructions. They are meant to be practiced, not simply hearing and letting it off. No, to practice them. Sri Ramakrishna would tell them in such a way that whatever he said was like a jewel, and everybody would give utmost importance for his most valuable instructions. Sri Ramakrishna saw in his room on the wall there was a photograph of Hanuman. Immediately the thought went very high up. Just by remembering the divine name, just by remembering some divine episodes, Sri Ramakrishna would immediately go into trance. His mind had become very much sensitive to that idea. Slightest thought about divine was enough to take his mind away from this world. His mind was always on the high plane. It was very difficult for Sri Ramakrishna to bring down that mind from that high level. So many times he would tell forcefully, I would like to drink water, I would like to take something, just to bring down the mind from that high level. Otherwise, how can he talk to the people? If he is in that ecstatic state all the time, then he could not talk to people at all. So it was rather very difficult for Sri Ramakrishna to come down to the level of the ordinary beings. He saw the Hanuman photo, immediately all the thoughts regarding Hanuman came to his mind. And he said, look, what great devotion Hanuman had for Ramachandra. Hanuman, a very great ideal to be followed. He who never cared for wealth, He who never cared for honor, position, he who never cared for creature comforts, he wouldn't care for anything else in this world. He didn't want anything, literally. He wanted only Sri Ramachandra. That's it. Nothing short of that. So his whole heart was filled with the consciousness of Sri Ramachandra. He had such tremendous faith in the divine name. Just by thinking Sri Rama once, he would get all the spiritual power in his hand. And he could accomplish any task assigned to him. With that name, divine name, uttering how he could jump over the vast ocean and reach Sri Lanka, how he searched for Janaki everywhere, and finally how he got success. All these things became possible because he had such tremendous faith, Shraddha, full confidence in the divine name. Faith is a very feeble word. Shraddha, that is the proper word which Sanskrit explains such a quality. Shraddha. Where there is Shraddha, there is knowledge. There is fulfillment. There is everything. You can get the vision of God by just cultivating your Shraddha. Shraddha means you must be 100% at it. We must build up that. It is possible. It is not a story. There are people who are full of Shraddha. How this dedication become possible? It is because of this tremendous quality of Shraddha. I am prepared to undergo any difficulties. I will not be shaken in my path. That is Shraddha. Dogged determination to pursue the path. So what Sri Ramakrishna is telling here about Hanuman is that how did Hanuman long for the vision of Rama? We must have that kind of longing towards the divine Lord, towards God. Then, how is it possible for God not to bless you with vision? He must come and you will see God. If only you have intense longing to have the vision of God. So far we had read in the previous class. Now I shall continue. This is page 91. As Sri Ramakrishna was singing this song, he went into Samadhi. Again, the half-closed eyes and motionless body that one sees in his photograph. Just a minute before, the devotees had been making merry in his company. Now all eyes were riveted on him. Thus for the second time M saw the master in Samadhi. After a long time, the master came back to ordinary consciousness. His face lighted up with a smile and his body relaxed. His senses began to function in a normal way. He shed tears of joy as he repeated the holy name of Rama. He was just talking about Hanuman, so he just remembered Ramachandra and he is repeating his name. M wondered whether this very saint was a person who a few minutes earlier had been behaving like a child of 5. The master said to Narendra and M, I should like to hear you speak and argue in English. They both laughed, but they continued to talk in their mother tongue. It was impossible for M to argue any more before the master. Though Sri Ramakrishna insisted they didn't talk in English. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all the devotees except Narendra and M took leave of the master. As M was walking in the temple garden, he suddenly came upon the master talking to Narendra on the bank of the goose pond. Sri Ramakrishna said to Narendra, look here, come a little more often. You are a newcomer. On first acquaintance, people visit each other quite often, as is the case with a lover and his sweetheart. Narendra and Yam laugh. So please come, won't you? Here he is giving the indication how Sri Ramakrishna is loving him completely. He wanted him all the time. That is the indication of his matured love. Narendra, a member of the Brahma Samaj, was very particular about his promises. He said with a smile, yes sir, I shall try. As they were returning to the master's room, Sri Ramakrishna said to Yam, when peasants go to market to buy bullocks for their plows, they can easily tell the good from bad by touching their tails. On being touched there, some meekly lie down on the ground. The peasants recognize that these are without mettle and so reject them. They select only those bullocks that frisk about and show spirit when their tails are touched. Narendra is like a bullock of this latter class. He is full of spirit within. The master smiled as he said this and continued. There are some people who have no grit whatever. They are like flattened rice soaked in milk, soft and mushy. No inner strength. It was dusk. The master was meditating on God. He said to Yam, go and talk to Narendra. Then tell me what you think of him. Evening worship was over in the temples. Yam met Narendra on the bank of the Ganges and they began to converse. Narendra told Yam about his studying in college, his being a member of the Brahma Samaj and so on. It was now late in the evening and time for M's departure. But he felt reluctant to go and instead went in search of Sri Ramakrishna. He had been fascinated by the master's singing and wanted to hear more. At last, he found the master pacing alone in the Nat Mandir in front of the Kali temple. A lamp was burning in the temple on either side of the image of the Divine Mother. The single lamp in the spacious Nat Mandir blended light and darkness into a kind of mystic twilight in which the figure of the master could be dimly seen. M had been enchanted by the master's sweet music. With some hesitation, he asked him whether there would be any more singing that evening. No, not tonight, said Sri Ramakrishna after a little reflection. Then as if remembering something, he added, but I am going soon to Balaram Bose's house in Calcutta. Come there and you will hear me sing. M agreed to go. Master, do you know Balaram Bose? Master Maharshi, no sir, I don't. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, Balram Bose lives in Bosepara. Master Maharshi, well sir, I shall find him. As Sri Ramakrishna walked up and down the hall with M, he said to him, let me ask you something. What do you think of me? He's putting a very direct question. Master Maharshi remained silent. Again Sri Ramakrishna asked, what do you think of me? How many annas of knowledge of God have I? Master Maharshi, I don't understand what you mean by annas. But of this I am sure. I have never before seen such knowledge, ecstatic love, faith in God, renunciation, and Catholicity anywhere. The master left. Yam bowed low before him and took his leave. He had gone as far as the main gate of the temple garden when he suddenly remembered something and came back to Sri Ramakrishna, who was still in the Nat Mandir. In the dim light, the master, all alone, was pacing the hall, rejoicing in the self, as the lion lives and roams alone in the forest. In silent wonder, Yam surveyed that great soul. Master to Yam, what makes you come back? Master Maharshi, perhaps the house you asked me to go to belongs to a rich man. They may not let me in. I think I had better not go. I would rather meet you here. Master, oh no. Why should you think that? Sri Ramakrishna said, just mention my name. Daily occurrences have got great spiritual value, and Master Maharshi made use of them to the maximum extent possible. It was a great treasure. Master Maharshi had all these recollections, and in his later years we could see him, how he would shed tears of joy all the time. He was full of peace and joy all the time. That's the beauty, and that is how his life was completely transformed into spiritual. Now we shall stop here. That completes the chapter 1 in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Now I will like to have your observations and comments or questions, whatever it is. We do have images of Sri Ramakrishna in India. We do worship. In Belmont itself we have got a very good marble image of Sri Ramakrishna. And though in the initial stage Vivekananda was brought up in the Brahma Samaj, but afterwards, by coming in contact with Sri Ramakrishna, all his ideas got changed, and he could understand the importance of the images. And there was a very good incident in Vivekananda's life, how he met the king of Alwar, Mangal Singh, and when he asked the question, why Swamiji, why the Hindus, why they worship the idols? Do you believe in the idol worship? Like that king asked him. And Swami Vivekananda gave a wonderful answer. If you please refer to that incident in Vivekananda's life by Eastern and Western disciples. It's a beautiful episode. Eastern and Western disciples. Life of Swami Vivekananda by Eastern and Western disciples. It's a very fantastic incident in the life. And it's very famous. And What a fine answer Vivekananda gave to that king. He was asking in a very derogatory way, because he had some foreign friends. He was influenced by foreign friends, and he thought he was very highly educated in the modern sense in that time. And so he was putting the question just to make fun or whatever it is. But Swami Vivekananda became very serious and he wanted to open his eyes. And then he said, there the Prime Minister of that state was there, all the important reputed officials were there. It was a good gathering. All the cabinet ministers were there, and including the king. It was arranged. So then Swami Vivekananda, for a moment, he just looked at the wall in that courtyard. Then he saw there was a photograph of the king himself who asked that question. He asked one of the members, "You please bring that photo to my hand." They were all surprised. They didn't know what he wanted to say. Anyway, they brought the photo and gave it to Swamiji's hands. Then he said, "Well, there are so many people here. You spit upon this. Spit upon this." Like that he said. They were all shocked. What Swamiji you are telling? You are telling in front of the king to spit upon this photograph. They were all shocked, literally, and they were all terribly afraid what this king might do to Vivekananda. But Swamiji was master of renunciation and personification of fearlessness, embodiment of strength. Who can do anything to him? To Swamiji. But anyway, Swamiji said this with so much vehemence. Why? Why are you hesitating? It's a picture. It's only a photograph. But why do you hesitate to spit upon it? Because when you see the photograph, you will remember the king himself. So it conveys that idea. In the same way, when we have the image, that conveys the idea of the Divine Spirit. Nobody worships the image as, "Oh, stone image, you please bless me. Oh, clay image, you give me this boon." Nobody will worship like that. By worshipping the image, we are invoking the Divine Spirit. It's Chinmaya Murti. So to recall that, these images are done. So it only symbolizes the Spirit. It's a symbolic. Like that, Swamiji clarified the point and they were all completely convinced about that. And afterwards this king became a great devotee of Swami Vivekananda. So that was how he talked about this idol. Sri Ramakrishna himself worshipped the image Kali in Dakshineshwar. But the divine power manifested after Sri Ramakrishna worshipped over the years by the power of his concentration, by the power of his meditation, by the power of his spiritual disciplines. He could see the manifestation of that divine power in that image. God is present everywhere, and more so in the images which are being installed according to traditional ways. But you can feel that manifestation when you practice some disciplines in the life. Then you will be able to understand what it is. That's all about the image. And about Shraddha, you were telling. Shraddha is a very special quality which is important, particularly when we have to develop our spiritual personality. Shraddha actually, it is a very wide term in Sanskrit. It means a person who is full of Shraddha, he must be very sincere. in his pursuit. Shraddha wants a person to have full confidence in his doing the things. He should not lose hope. So it covers all these things. So you try to meditate upon the Divine Spirit according to the instructions received by the Guru. Have full Shraddha in the words of the Guru and practice disciplines. That when you practice disciplines, maintaining the Shraddha, you will get the fruit of it. You will get the vision of God. You will not do haphazardly. A person who doesn't, today he will do some meditation, tomorrow he doesn't do. Today he will do for 5 minutes, tomorrow he may do for 1 second, day after tomorrow he may not do at all. He will give some reason, some excuse, whatever it is. No. Shraddha means he will not stop even at the point of death. He will not forego his habits, his practices. Even he is in his deathbed, he meditates on God and his mind is fixed on Him. That is the utility of Shraddha. And because of this Shraddha, Nachiketas, probably you might have heard his name in Kathopanishad, he could get immortality. Even the god of death, Yama himself, couldn't do anything with Nachiket. He could not tempt him. He asked him, you take whatever you want. I will give you thousands of years. You can have so much ayas. Because to enjoy, you must have lifespan must be quite big enough. I will give you 1,000 years you can live. And you have all the wealth. You can have all the luxuries. All these heavenly luxuries will be given to you. Enjoy them nicely. But don't ask about this spiritual knowledge. You first have these experiences, then we shall see. Nachiketa is a young boy, but he said, no, sir. I don't want all those things. Do you think all those things will solve the problem of life? Are they permanent? Do they give permanent joy or permanent peace? Yama said, no. Then when they are not giving permanent joy, then why should I have them? I am for it. I am for that joy which is not taken away by anybody. I want to experience that. I want to know the secret. I want to know the true nature of the Atman. I want to have Brahmajnana. I want to experience Sachidananda. So, he was full of Shraddha. That Shraddha, that means he was personification of sincerity. 100% he was sincere. And he asked this question, he wanted it. And Yama could not keep it secret. He had to tell him. So he got the instructions from the god of death himself about this path of spiritual knowledge. And in course of time he became illumined. So all this was possible because of Shraddha. This Shraddha did not allow him to go astray. It did not allow his mind to go in different directions. So, the Shraddha was rooted in renunciation. He didn't want anything. He wanted only this spiritual knowledge. He didn't want anything else. So that is how he could build up that Shraddha. And about Shraddha, that it's a spiritual power, naturally all these powers are ascribed to the feminine aspect. Generally it is considered as like that. And the mother is always full of love and compassion towards all the beings. So all these spiritual qualities are, the personification of all these spiritual qualities is the Divine Mother. You can see Holy Mother, the personification of all these divine virtues. So like that. But if you go to the essence, there is nothing like man, woman, etc. But when you come to relative plane, all these different aspects of things we see in the life. Anything else? It actually depends upon what approach we do have. There is nothing wrong if people want themselves to be merged in the Parabrahman, because they don't want to have any part in this play of Maya. They want to have the full experience of the realization. It becomes full only when one becomes the complete whole. Until then, it is not full realization. It's only a partial realization, whatever it may be. So, merging with Brahman means final realization, absolute. That's called Atyantika Mukti. But if you retain your individuality, then always that difference stands. When you retain that individuality, there must be one who is loving you and you want to be loved. So, if you cherish that attitude, then what Hanuman says is a good attitude to have the attitude of the servant. Otherwise, we do not know how our mind behaves. If for any reason, if we become egoistic, then God's presence will not be felt. So he didn't want to be like that. So, being a servant, he always depends upon the Divine Lord. Since Divine Lord is looking after him, so his security is assured. So that is the way. And here Hanuman has given the ideal. And you must know that because Hanuman was full of Shraddha, and for him Rama was everything. Everything was Rama to him. So, because of that attitude, he could realize that reality, what you said. When you consider it as Atman, Parabrahman, Atman and Parabrahman are one the same. But when you come to relative state, when you come to forms, then you are the master, I am the servant. So that realization, how could he get? It is because he could get the grace of Sri Ramachandra. And Sri Ramachandra himself tells him afterwards, look, you have excelled everybody in devotion. So actually, what Sri Ramachandra has said, when in the next creation, the position of Brahma, Indra, it's all position, just like Prime Minister position. So every cycle will have new set of office bearers. So Sri Ramachandra himself said, in the next creation, you will be the Brahma, you will be the creator. So like that, he didn't ask for the position, as I told in the beginning, he never wanted any position. But here, Ramachandra himself is giving the position. It is not his seeking the position, but he is telling me, you must do it. My work you must do. You are doing my work. So, like that, if one is devoted to the Divine Lord, finally you will understand everything. But the rishis, when they meditated upon Brahman, it's true, that they wanted to completely merge in that absolute reality. But nothing is lost by that way. Actually, who am I? I am insignificant. I am insignificant actually. So, to become one with the Brahman means I become the whole. So that way they would like to have the experience. In one story it is some manifestation, partly, Amsha. Some say he is the manifestation of Shiva. Some people say he is the Vayuputra, Pavana Kumar. Pavana means Vayu, god of wind god. See, self-awareness, all these things we talk about in relation to mind. We are talking all these things because of the mind. When the mind is not there, what is self? What is non-self? You tell me. So in the final analysis, mind gets dissolved. You are what you are. That's all. There it ends. The truth is revealed. It can't be expressed. That's the beauty of the final realization. Any more? Well, we shall conclude. We shall have the class next Tuesday as usual. Chant the name of the Lord. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame, as many times as I may be reborn. Grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence. Though it tears my soul asunder, O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may all the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be free from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.